crap. Hey guys. Let's see here. Trying to get orientated. All right, now I think I got it. Okay, so I figured, what the heck? Let's try something new since I'm all gimped up. So we'll let it kind of sit here for a little bit longer, and then I'll let you guys know what's going on. So yeah, looks like we got, hey, how you doing, Neil? You're building the STP guy. Cool. Clint, Shotgun Dave, Mr. Dave, Mr. Royal. Yeah, texting and driving do not. Yeah, don't try that at home. All right, so let me see here real quick. So how's everybody's day going? See here, I got my laptop over here so I can read your guys's live feed. I was trying to set up the phone, but then all of a sudden, I'll figure it out next time we do this live thing. But I had it sideways, which would work a lot better. And then it told me go into settings, but we'll just do it this way tonight. All right. Yeah, feeling a little bit better. It's been, what, 2 weeks since the accident happened, so I've gone from being a bunch of hoses and everything else stuck in me in the hospital to out here in the garage, so that's definitely a step in the right direction. All right, so so normally when I do the Patreon, and there's a couple of the Patreon members that are on the chat, but every so often we do builds, and it's kind of cool because we have this big Zoom meeting and we all build together. And I thought that would be kind of fun to try it with YouTube, you know, do a live stream. The only thing that's kind of the downside of it is that I have a chat to communicate to you guys instead of, you know, a Zoom type of call where everybody can just voice their opinion as we're going on. So bear with me. I'll try to keep up reading and everything else while we're doing this, but we're gonna attempt to build. I figured do something small, right? So attempt to do a billboard. The only thing is, I've got like a huge assortment of billboards that Kevin has sent me from Racetrack Scenics that I get to pick from. So it sounds like Neil is building the STP guy. I don't know what else we got going out there, if anyone else is building along or not, but let me know, and I'll try to pick a billboard that is in kind of the same type of genre that everybody else is building. And maybe I'll build 2 at the same time or 3 at the same time or whatever. We'll figure it out. Wow, it's midnight in England. Wow, jeez. Well, thank you for for letting me help you burn the midnight oil. So let's see here. Pistol Pete's working on the Riverside question box. What's the Riverside question box? I guess I could start on the Riverside monolith. Yeah, yeah, Dan, that thing's huge. All right, cool. So how many? Let's see here. The Boone Slot Car Garage signs too. We could do that or do anything. Hey, Mr. David. Good seeing you. All right. So I picked out just 2 easy ones. We got this little SO guy, Firestone guy, but since Neil's building the STP guy, let me grab, like I said, I got a whole entire stack of billboards. So I tell you what I'll do. I'll go ahead and put a few of these up. You guys tell me what you want to build. All right, so there's the Firestone, there's the SO, it's Big Texaco, Jägermeister. I got the female SO, Michelin guy. I've got this weird, this billboard. Let's see here. This is one of those 3-sided type of billboard. So there's that. There's other ones over there too. What do you guys want to do? So give it a couple minutes. We'll figure it out. So I'll tell you what I've been doing this week is actually trying to get my feet wet again, finding out what I can build with 1.5 hands. So I didn't break this arm, but the shoulder, the scapula's got a fracture going through it. So I can't raise it. It's stuck down here, right? And then obviously the ribs are all busted up. So, but I have been able to do a couple things this week. Let me grab them real quick. So, Kevin at Racetrack Scenic sent me a bunch of the Targa Floria buildings. So this is kind of what I've been playing with all week. And I've got 5 of them that are almost to completion. They're about to this point. So this is what I've been doing. And it's been kind of cool. I've been able to kind of figure out different things as far as how to go about building with my my current state. So that's been what's been going on. So let's see here. I think I saw, so we got a vote for the Jägermeister. So this one, we got that one. What else we got? Build all of them, right? Why not? We'll just kind of just, yeah, we'll just go marathon style. All right, so what we got here? So we got that. I've got some signs from Meg Racing on the way. Also 1/64th layout. Okay, so this Firestone sign, I believe that's a 1/64. So why don't we throw a 1/64th into the mix as well? So we got 1/64th Firestone. This is definitely, I believe this is 1/32 Jaeger. Do that. And let's see here. We could do the ESO at the same time. But let's see here. So Firestone, Jaeger. SE. All right. I could do SE. She's actually pretty simple. We could do that. So let's do that. Or let's see here. Is this 2 signs or 1 sign? It's kind of thick. I think it's 1 sign. Let's do this one. This actually, Essie would be a good one because she's a little bit different than just the normal types of sign. So I'll go ahead and save this one for a later date. Put it over there. And we'll start with these guys. So first things first, let's go ahead and get it out. So take this, slice it down through. Yeah, but since he no longer bounces, yeah, I don't bounce no more. I just kind of go, you know, figured that one out the hard way. But hey, at least I made. Okay, phone call came through. Phone call came through, messed up the live feed. So shame on whoever called me. But get rid of this. So get this out of the package. And one thing about these MDF kits is that you're going to have little tabs that are in there. Some of the stuff, as far as the bigger stuff, you can get away with just, you know, breaking it out. Smaller stuff, it's wise to go ahead and at least scribe it so you can get this stuff out. So do that. But I thought this would be kind of a different way of doing something. You know, a lot of guys are doing, you know, doing live streams and stuff like that, but doing a build, hey, it'd be kind of fun, right? All right, get rid of that piece. So we We got this, getting everything out. And let's see here. It's the hardest part sometimes is getting all the pieces out in one piece. Let's see here. Yeah, probably Kevin. Yeah. Yeah, I had to talk to him about that. So, if you guys haven't tried some of these Racetrack Scenics kits, really nice. Right here. I mean, it's all laser cut MDF, and they're fun little kits to put together. Besides, a little bit of scenery, a little bit of billboards around the track, kind of adds to it, right? Get into that Zen type of slot car racing. Mentioned that to Shotgun Dave today on his live stream. He was talking about how he likes to just kind of let the cars go around the track and just kind of take it in like you would with a train track. And I don't know, I find that kind of cool. Just kind of kick back and enjoy the whole entire thing. So there's one done. Get rid of that. So now that we got all our pieces out, go ahead and grab a little bit of sandpaper, and there's little nubs on the side here. So I just want to go ahead and sand those down just to kind of dress it up a little bit. So we'll go ahead and hit that. What are the kits like compared to magnetic racing? They're actually pretty much the same thing. I mean, both magnetic racing and RTS, Racetrack Scenics, use the same type of material. Actually, Kevin from Racetrack Scenics upped his material as far as with the MDF, and he's now using a higher quality MDF, which is really nice. But as far as the fit and finish and everything else, they're very comparable to each other. You really can't tell a difference between the two kits. There's a couple things that Racetrack Scenics does that Magnetic Racing doesn't do, and there's a few things that Magnetic Racing does that Racetrack Scenics doesn't do. But they're real comparable. One thing that Racetrack Scenics does Magnetic Racing does on a lot of their kits, if you're having, say, like this Targa Florio building, the windows and that type of stuff, Magnetic Racing will go ahead and add in a sheet of Mylar so you can cut out the windows and stuff like that. Racetrack Scenics doesn't have that, but it's real available. And I talked to Kevin a little bit about it, and he says he doesn't like to do it because it might get a little bit scratched or whatnot in shipping. So, being that you can just kind of go down to your local hobby shop or craft store and just pick up some, but really that's the only difference. The other difference is Racetrack Scenics is made in the US, Magnetic Racing is made over in the UK. So there you go. But yeah, it's here. Friday and the weekend is here. Race weekend. Cool. But I tell you what, one thing that happened during this whole entire incident I had about not knowing how to climb a ladder properly. Gives you time to reflect. Done a lot of reflecting. Obviously that's I can't do much more. You know, either I can sit down, do something like this, but as far as doing the other stuff around the house with the horses and everything else, yeah, I can't do much of that. So, sitting around and trying to keep my brain busy has got me thinking. And I've been talking to a few friends of mine that are YouTubers as well. Travis, you know, that slot car guy. Talk with Travis quite a bit. Raul with Conquest Racing. And obviously Kevin from Racetrack Scenics and some other stuff. And decided that I'm going to go ahead and step it up. So what I mean by stepping it up. Up to this point, everything's pretty much been doing the YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Patreon group. And I've decided to go ahead and open the doors and start doing commissions. So that is new. And so what that means is that if you want to have something built or something like that with the kit or anything, okay, go ahead and start doing that. So one of the things that I want to get going is, if you guys have seen, well, I'm sure you've seen it, the guardrail. So my guardrail that I built, I'm actually getting a hold of a bead roller, so I don't have to use the jig or anything else. I'm actually going to get a bead roller and start rolling out guardrail, and that will be something that I can put kits together and start selling that. So not everybody is set up for some of this stuff, and guardrail's not an easy thing to build, even, you know, with the jig and everything else. It takes a little bit to do it. So I decided that let's go ahead and do it. So what did I do with that? Oh, there it is. Ugh. So it's one of the things that is also that I'm going to start doing. So I'll start doing guardrail, crash fence. Yep. And so yeah, if there's something that you're wanting to have built, something like that, drop me a message either with Facebook or Instagram or something like that. We can figure it out. So going to start with kind of baby steps right now and work up to bigger and brighter things. So I just want to go ahead and put that out. I was talking to another one. Get rid of that one. Talking to Travis today about that. He goes, you know, just go ahead and put the word out. So that's what we're doing, putting the word out. So yeah, Neil, that's the bead roller, and that's just the way to do it. You know, it's the best way to do it. So it's tough. So let's go ahead and we'll get this all sanded out. Now I'm going to go ahead and get all three kits prepped, okay? So I'm going to be building 3 kits at one time here. And yeah, we can do this. So being as such, for you guys that are actually building along with me with all this, what are you using as far as paint goes? Are you using acrylic? Are we using stain? Are we trying to make it look like metal as far as with like spray can? What do you guys got going on? So then I can go ahead and build these in accordance to how you guys are doing it. So let me know on the chat. We'll get that. Spray can and acrylic. All right. So we can do spray can and acrylic. Too early for me. I'm still in bed. Ah. Okay. All right. So there's that one. That Firestone one, that's easy. That's only like 3 pieces. All right, so let's get Essie out here. Actually, this is, I've had this for so long, it's one of his original ways that he did it with the Ziploc bag. So the newer stuff that Kevin put out, he actually got a like a Mylar style packaging, which is really nice. It all wraps up and everything else. It's pretty cool. So, let's see here. Get this opened. Get her out. Okay, get rid of that. We got Essie. Put her over there. And so, Pistol Pete, you need some guardrail and some catch fence? I'll grab some of that here in a sec. Bring it up. You guys can take a look at it up close. It's pretty cool stuff. So let's see here. Usually up at 2, okay. So you use Rust-Oleum on your tower. Yeah, it looks like galvanized metal. Yeah, that stuff's pretty cool. All right, there's that. Oh, crap. Oh, I lost my sandpaper. There it is. Okay. So we get this done. All right, now if you are using spray can to paint it, your best bet with MDF is to put down a primer. So if you have a primer and you got your kit out, now's a good time to go ahead and spray it with primer. And what the primer will do is seal the pores of the MDF. Otherwise, when you spray it with like an enamel or a lacquer as far as spray, the MDF will absorb the pigment of the paint, and it kind of makes it a pain in the butt trying to get coverage. So if you have a sprayable primer, if you put that onto it, it'll bridge the gap, and it's a lot easier then to get coverage on MDF. So can do that. Here's this. Trying to figure out the best way of doing this. Okay. All right, let's see here. Okay. Let's double check everything. Got our nubs. You notice I'm just sanding where the nubs are at, okay? Not hitting all the other stuff. Acrylic or bomb can. Get all that covered up pretty good. Another thing we can use is stained. So I might actually do one of these with stain. And that's what I'll do. So what we're gonna do is figure this out. I'm gonna do Firestone with acrylic. So I'm gonna do acrylic paint with the Firestone. So hand brushing. The SO gal, I'm gonna go ahead and do bomb can. So we're gonna spray bomb can with her. And Jägermeister. Jaeger is gonna go ahead and get the stain treatment. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit it with the different stains and give it that weathered look and everything else with that one. So, next thing we need to do is I need to go and throw some primer on this. So let me get a board. Ta-da, got a board. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and step out. I'm gonna get some primer on this, flip it over, and I'll be right back. And I was gonna go ahead and use some Rust-Oleum primer. So I'll be right back, guys. Upstairs? Okay, so one coat of primer, that's all I need. You just need that light coat to go ahead and bridge the gap. So go ahead and take this, stick it off to the side. Now, with Firestone, it's going to be acrylic. All right, I am just gonna go ahead and use simple acrylic with it, and this is antique white. So you can use whatever color you want. I'm just gonna go ahead and do a white motif with it, and we'll do some weathering with it too. But right now, just gonna go ahead and paint it white. So, brush. And just gonna go ahead and paint this apart. So, real easy. Cool thing about this, and kind of keep this in mind, you only got one side to this, right? So You only need to paint one side. Just paint your edges, a little bit around the edge, and then paint the whole entire back side of it. So there's no reason to go ahead and paint an area that you can go ahead and cover up with signage. So we'll just do it like that. I like to start with my edges first, just to go ahead and trim it all in. Makes it real easy that way. So at least I can still hold stuff with this hand. I'd really be SOL if it was totally immobilized. Nah, I'd still figure out a way of doing it. So I'll go ahead and get this all covered. This is the boring part. Painting everything the same color. And why I decided to do the Jaeger with stain is because the painting process on that is going to be different. Okay? So there we go. We got one side done. Go and set that down. Now we'll grab this. And I'm going to have white paint all over my hands. So pretty easy. Let's see here if we can do this proficiently. So we'll start with just one angle. Work all those angles down. We'll see what we got here. Not sure how long it's going to take to build all three of these. Yeah, cool thing is when we do this with the Zoom, we can sit here and razz each other and everything else while we're doing it. It's kind of fun. Can't do that with a chat. So here, flip it over, get the inside angles. And depending how perfect you want to do it, a lot of times what I'll do is I'll just hit this with one coat if I'm getting enough coverage with it. Just because I'm not going after trying to make it look like it's brand new. I want to go ahead and make it look so, yeah, it looks like it's been on the track for a while, you know. And if you have really strong coverage with it, well, it looks good, but it looks like it's brand new too. If you're getting good coverage with just one coat and you get a little bit of that bleed through, it kind of adds a little bit more character to it. It's kind of like a built-in weathering. These grids, man, they take forever. Get the box. Little trick also, if you're spraying with a bomb can and it comes down to like something like this, okay? Little FYI. When you're painting it, paint it one direction all the way through. Turn it, paint it the one direction, paint it the one direction, and then just go ahead and flip it over. You're gonna have enough material as far as on the face or anything else, you won't even have to worry about it. But also why I'm saying that is that if you paint one direction, okay, and not try to get in here and go like this and go like that, one, you're gonna have a lot faster coverage as far as getting everything hit. The other thing too, it's harder to forget about maybe a nook and cranny you didn't get, okay? And yeah, just makes it easier. So that works out pretty cool. All right, let me look at the chat here. Get back on. Can you use non-acrylic primer? What was that? What was that? Can you use non-acrylic primer with, will the paints react? On MDF, you're okay, okay? You're okay on MDF if you do it, as long as, well, the primer is gonna be, it's gonna be sat in, you're only gonna put on a light coat, okay? So you're gonna be okay. Now if you're using like enamel and lacquer, right? Is that kind of what we're going after? On the MDF, you're okay because the MDF's gonna absorb it to a point. And the other thing is with the primer, you're putting on a light coat. You're not putting on a heavy coat. And even when you come back to top coat it, you're not gonna be loading it up. You're gonna be putting on mist coats to go ahead and get your coverage so you don't run everything and whatnot. So you'd be okay. In fact, this is enamel, okay? So what I will do is I will mix it up and I will use lacquer, because I think I have some lacquer. I'll use lacquer for the bomb can, okay? So I'll do it too. It'll work. So, oh boy. Almost done. Let's see here, yep. All right. Get this, and then with the, like I said, with the Jägermeister, I'm gonna go ahead and use stains with that, right? So, cool thing about doing that is we can go ahead and assemble the sign, okay? Don't have to paint it and be all apart. So let me go ahead and finally got that inner grid. Did I get that? No, I didn't get that. Get this one. It's one thing about hand brushing or hand painting. It takes a while. It takes a while. So, yeah, I'd also like to say thank you to all you guys. If you've been on my Facebook group, I put up a a message when I was still in the hospital. Yeah, yeah. Oh, that was an interesting time. A lot of, yeah, we'll just leave it at that. But I just want to say thank you guys. I'm blown away. That post is still getting comments, and last time I checked, which was earlier today, because there was some comments on there. It's almost 900 comments, and kind of floored. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. Kind of it was a sticky situation, put it that way. If you haven't seen it, I'll give you a rundown what happened. So 2 weeks ago today, I was trying to trace down a short on some wiring for some floodlights that been acting up on top of the house. It's got an electrical short somewhere. Still not fixed, obviously. I kind of fell down on the job. But so I was going through trying to check them. And my next thing, going through the system, was to go up on the roof of the house in the back, because the wires go through and then come up on top, and check the junction box that was up on the top of the roof. And I went ahead and took my ladder and put it on my deck and proceeded to climb up. Now, the decking that I have is what they call Trex, and it's that newer stuff. Back stiff. It's that newer stuff that they have, which kind of is like a composite. It's not wood. It's cool stuff, but the problem is extremely slick. And my bottom of my ladder, the pads have plastic, kind of a plastic composite pad at the base of it. Funny thing is that the job that I work, I'm up and down ladders all day long. And you would think, being that I'm used to going up and down ladders, that I would have used a little bit more common sense and thought this through a little bit more. But I grabbed a hold of it, put it up there, sat it down, and it was at a pretty good angle. And gave it a shake. Seemed like it was stable. Obviously, it's on a flat plane, and I proceeded to climb up the ladder. Well, when I got up to the top and I was transferring my weight to the roof, the ladder slid out. And since my leg was on the top of the roof, I had one leg on top. This, it's kind of funny how you remember some of this stuff. I had one leg on the roof, one leg on the ladder, one foot, and the ladder, it slipped down like this. Well, I was up on top, and since my leg was up on top here, instead of just, falling down with the ladder straight down, feet first, no. My foot was here, so it put me upside down, and I fell back first down. I probably wouldn't, well, I can't say that. So I fell about, it's roughly probably about 10 feet is what I would say. But I fell back first onto the ladder itself, and it's aluminum ladder, so you can think the structure of the ladder, and I fell like that onto it. So my left side fell onto the rungs of the ladder and everything else, and that's how I got so messed up. So what happened was I fractured 7 ribs, so it's all on the left hand side. So I fractured, or I didn't fracture, I fully broke. They're completely broke off, and they're all in the back. And so 7 fully broken ribs, 5 ribs that are what they call dislocated. I don't really understand what dislocated means as far as with ribs, but they're dislocated. And I have 2 ribs in this area up on my sternum that when it busted, they hyperextended and they ripped in the sternum area. So yeah, that's pretty bad. It took my scapula, which is your shoulder blade, and I have a fracture that goes almost all the way across. Scapula bone, you know, shoulder blade's pretty good size. The crack is 2.5 inches short from being a full fracture or being a full break. So cracked all the way down to one part. So that, and then one of the damn ribs decided that it needed to come loose, and it punctured my left lung as well. My lung did a full collapse. So it messed me up pretty good. The ambulance got here, paramedics got here, and you know, found out how messed up I was. And they opted to go ahead and do airlift. So they airlifted me from here up to Fort Worth to a place called Harris Methodist Church or hospital. And they have I guess a really good trauma unit. It's a good trauma unit. Obviously, I'm still here. So if anybody knows anything about, you know, medical with airlift and stuff like that, that generally is not a good thing when that happens. So yeah. So make a long story short, talked to my doctor about the day that I was, or surgeon, because they had to go in and do surgery as far as with my punctured lung, and they had to reset the ribs. So they had to go in and also start, because the ribs were so messed up, they had to realign them. I don't know what that entails. I don't want to know what that entails. But yeah, so they had to do that. Surgeon told me that when I got there, one of the main reasons why they did it is not only because of the collapsed lung, but my other lung was filling up with blood. And the paramedics found out about it when it happened. So I haven't really talked to this about you guys. Only a couple people know about this. But yeah, I come to find out he said I only had a few minutes to spare by the time I got into the hospital as far as making it. So I'm grateful to be here today. Hence some of the reflecting I've been doing on certain, you know, it's kind of funny. This is not my first set of broken bones by any means. Actually, these bones that are fractured and busted have put me in the neighborhood of around 42 bones, 43 bones completely that I've busted through my years on this planet. But I've never busted this many bones at one time. Okay, take a break. This guy right here is painted on both sides. If you have one of Racetrack Scenic signs, they have this little base. You can go ahead and paint it. I like to use it to set these guys in here as a jig. And then maybe if I'm able-bodied. Yeah. And if you've got a gimpy arm and you can't get it in there, then just find something to lay it up against. Can. This, lay it up against it. There we go. Okay, it's gonna dry. Paintbrush, we'll get rid of that. Okay, so I got that, got this. Where was I? Yeah, so yeah, not my first rodeo as far as breaking bones. Done a lot of that, but I never busted this many bones at one time. Do not recommend busting this many bones at one time. It really sucks. Doesn't matter how many painkillers you're on, still really sucks. But there you go. So let's get off of that subject. Now we got the Jäger, this guy. So if you're going to use stain, okay, and you're not going to use paint or bomb can, and you're just using stain, you can assemble it ahead of time. Okay? And why you can do that is because stain will, it'll creep. So it goes in there and starts moving, right? It's not like paint where you have to sit there and make sure you're brushing every little square inch. Stain, even with MDF, will go ahead and seep some. So I just got to figure out what we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, that doesn't help me too much. Okay, I figured it out. So if you have a sign like this, so it's one of these. Racetrack Scenics has 2, at least on this one. A lot of their signs, some of their signs are different than others, but it has 2 different sizes. See, we got a small one and a little bit wider, thicker. So my guess is thicker one, yeah, because they go like that, okay? So a thicker one's gonna go where the actual signage is gonna glue up at, and the smaller ones are the supports for the back side. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and, come on, there we go. Go ahead and assemble this. Now, if you're using stain also, one of the things you wanna watch out for when you're doing super glue, okay, try to use minimal, okay? What I mean by that is you don't want to put on a whole bunch. You don't have to anyway because it's super glue, remember. But thing is that with stain, you gotta remember you're staining, the stain is not going to stain the areas that have glue on them, because the glue is going to go ahead and seal that area. So use a minimal amount of super glue. That way you're not having anything seeping out or anything else when you're putting it on. So just going to go ahead and do this down one whole entire side, like so. So there's that. Go ahead and glue the other side. All right, and we'll just go ahead and get that set in there. So there's that. We got that side done. Did my Neil, so you're asking, did my wife find me? Yeah, it happened on Friday, kind of, we were all here at the house, thank God. So yeah, when I fell, obviously, I made a big boom, and they said there was a pretty good holler when I hit as well. Big thing is when I hit and it knocked the wind out of me, which, you know, punctured the lung, everything else hit. I couldn't breathe. I've had the wind knocked out of me before. I've raced motorcycles, everything else, taken some really hard falls. Wind got knocked out of me really good. When my wife came around the corner, she was in the front yard, I was in the back. I still hadn't got my breath back. She told me later I was not breathing for about over 2 minutes before I was able to get a breath. That was scary. That part was scary because you knock your breath out, everything else, you're like, okay. But for my not able to get a breath for a full 2 minutes was, yeah, I didn't know what was going on. So it kind of freaked me out. But yeah, my wife did find me, Neil. And then she found me, and then she started bitching me out. Yeah, she started chewing my ass because of the way that I had the ladder. You know, it's kind of that, you know, after 20 some odd years of marriage, they have a really funny way of showing how much they love you. So yeah. So yeah, she gave me the right act, and I hadn't even, she gave me the right act. So that's, there you go. Let's see here. Oh, you thought this was a bottle? Nah, I drink iced tea. So this is that pure leaf iced tea. It's good stuff. Let's see here. Jean's asking, do you have an airbrush? I do have an airbrush. With this though, I was just gonna go ahead and use rattle can. And mere fact with that is I get a real good effect with rattle can. And it kind of has a cool look to it. If you have an airbrush, go ahead and use your airbrush by all means. But I don't know. I kind of weigh it on a certain thing. Airbrush has a lot of cleanup and everything else involved. If I'm just painting a small something like this, I probably won't get it out just because it's not going to make the end result any different than what it would be without it. So That's kind of personal preference there. So now with this, I'm actually going to go ahead and glue the front on as well. Okay, so I got to figure out how I want it placed. Okay. Let's see here. Now, a lot of times with stuff like this, okay, let's do something here. So, little trick. Tricks are good, right? Get your signage placed on here, okay? Get it centered, get it where you want to have it. So this can get a little tricky. So get it right where you want it, where you're happy with it, and everything else. Now, grab. That was the wrong way to bend. I'm gonna go ahead and just use a little pin, right? And I'm gonna make some reference points. That one's not working. Grab this pin. And what I'm gonna do is just go ahead and put a couple little marks, not big, real small, right up next to it. Okay, and then up on top here, where it rolls around, I'm just going to go ahead and put a mark there and a mark there. Okay, why are we doing this? Well, so when we take this off and we go to glue it, when you're putting it back on and you have wet glue down there, you aren't sitting there moving it everywhere trying to recenter it again. These will go ahead and give you reference points that you can go ahead and line up, and then bam, it's right back to where you want. So kind of a little easy type of thing to kind of save a little bit of frustration. So let me go ahead and I'll hit this. In the middle. Okay. Tighten that up, now we'll get this placed on there. All right. And there we go. So yeah, those little bit of reference points that you can go ahead and mark on there saves you a lot of headache. It seems like it'd be, well, I just take a little extra time, put those marks in there. That way, when you do come back to gluing it, it'll go real smooth for you. So, little tip. Now, we've got our primer, which is dry. So what I'm gonna do, I gotta find some white. Here. I was gonna do a lacquer. Okay, so I have a lacquer Bomb can. It's already dry. This was, remember, it was enamel primer. So I'm gonna go outside, I'm gonna spray it with the lacquer. Okay? Like I said, with the MDF, you're okay. If you're trying to spray like a slot car body or something like that, either stay with enamel from start to finish or stay with lacquer from start to finish, but don't cross the two, okay? The reason for that is on MDF, it's porous, right? So our primer's down, absorbed into it, okay? Plus we put a light coat on it, so we're okay. Do not put a heavy coat of primer on and then try to go back over with like a lacquer over enamel or enamel over lacquer, okay? Don't do it. Light coat, okay? Because if you did heavy coat, a little bit different. But I'm gonna go ahead and spray this. I'll be right back with lacquer and we'll be okay. Okay, I'll grab this one right here. Hemmed in both sides, just one side. But there, that is, okay, we used enamel primer, used lacquer over the top. I even went pretty heavy with the lacquer. No reaction, no lifting, no nothing else. So you're okay with MDF. But like I said, like if you're using a slot car body or something like that, don't recommend it. You can do it, okay? It is possible, you can do it. But you gotta like tiptoe throughout the whole entire process. And at any time, that lacquer or enamel can bite into the other and then it's lifting and it's just, yeah, it's something that you're kicking yourself. Why did I do this? So let's see here. Let's see here, family. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and let that flash off and then I'll flip it over and we'll do the other side. This guy is all dry. So this was our acrylic that we hand brushed. So we got our flags here. And I am going to go ahead and do the same thing that I did with the Jägermeister. And I got to find my center points. Okay, so once you got, kind of helps if I put it on the right way. Hit it backwards. Okay. All right, so I got it aligned. Again, I'm going to take my pin, just make a couple little reference points, not big. Okay, that figured out. Okay, and then we'll just go ahead and glue it in. Sear this up in the middle. There. Also pay attention where the signage covers on the structure, so you aren't gluing off in left field and there's nothing's gonna stick to it because there's nothing there. So pay attention to that one too. And don't feel bad if you've done that. I've done it too. That's why I'm reiterating to you guys. Just kind of be a little careful of that. So, okay, now that I got that on, let me get this. Get that set. There we go. So now, Firestone, it's all dry. Well, it's in there. So put that down. This isn't drying real quick. So I'm gonna cheater. Heat gun. If you don't have a heat gun, recommend getting a heat gun. Works really good. You can manipulate nature with a heat gun. So just go ahead and zap this real quick. Should go pretty fast. You don't have to turn it up real high. A low setting will work. And a lot of times also, if you get it heated up, it still seems a little bit soft. By the time it cools down to room temperature, it'll shock the surface, and the surface area will be dry. So it's kind of one of those old painter tricks. I'm sure Shotgun Dave kind of knows some of those old painter tricks too. So I'll go ahead and get this real quick. All right. Didn't take much. Yep. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rotate this over, take it back outside, and go ahead and spray this. And I'll be right back. Grab one more can just in case. No, I have another can of this stuff. I saw it. Aha! There it is. Yes, second can. All right, I'll be back. hopefully soon. Okay, I'm back. Got all painted. So let that sit. Now, go back to Jaeger. Actually, you know what? Let's finish up Firestone. So pretty much at this point, all we got to do is just glue this guy, our signage, onto it. Okay, just line up and do it. Now, like I was telling you, the one coat process on this. So I don't know if you can see it real well, but see how it kind of has like a little bit of darkness around the sides, stuff like that. So it already kind of gives it a little bit of a weathered look to it. And all you did was just put on one coat. Just a little bit of bleed through in certain areas already kind of gives it that natural weathering right off the bat. You didn't have to do nothing. So that's pretty cool. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and use some Mod Podge, and this is the matte finish. And just grab just a light brush. And just give it a light coat. I always like to give a thorough coat, meaning I like to get every little square inch that I am going to go ahead and put the signage on. Reason behind that, for one, being that the layout is in the garage and it's susceptible to humidity or you know, the different weather that's out here. If you do not evenly spread the adhesive on the back, and say there's an area that you left, it wasn't all the way there, the moisture can start to react with that and actually can start to kind of pull your signage a little bit, okay? So just to be on the safe side, make sure you have a nice even coat all the way over. It's like a medium, kind of a medium wet style coat. It's not real heavy, it's not real light. So we'll just do that. I'll line this guy up. Okay. Set the way you want it. There you go. Pretty cool. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry. Set this over here. Won't throw that. Put my Mod Podge over here. Now, Jaeger. So with Jaeger, like I was telling you, we're gonna go ahead and use stain. Okay. If you've seen my other videos, you're familiar with this. Watco oil. Now, this is the dark walnut, okay? The other stuff that I've been able to use was like the medium walnut, or medium. This is dark. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get another paintbrush. And we're gonna go ahead and give this thing a good coat. And let me just go ahead and I'm gonna coat this just a little bit and I'm gonna stop and I'll show you guys something. Okay. So there we go. You can see it's just giving a little bit of a darker tone to it and everything else. Cool thing, like I said, with stain is that it's going to seep, right? So if you get up in here, start moving around, it's going to start doing a lot of the work for you. That's cool. And doesn't take much. I mean, the more you want to put on it, you know, obviously the darker it's going to get. So I'm not worried about putting on even coats or anything else. Just getting it covered. And I'm going to make it real easy this way. Okay, and then we'll hit that. So one of the things I was thinking here, I've been building, like I said earlier in the live stream, I was talking about what I've been doing this last week as far as building those Targa Floria buildings, okay? So what I was thinking is instead of going through a whole entire video of me building a kit, okay, because it's a kit, but there are certain techniques that I'm using on these Targa Florio buildings that is kind of unique to them. Being that the track was in Sicily, I'm doing a stucco effect on the outside, and I'm also doing a tile roof, okay, which is kind of unique. I'm taking the kit a little bit above and beyond with certain things. And there's brickwork and stonework that's on these buildings as well. And so what I'm doing is using my trusted joint compound to go ahead and create those effects, okay? So what I was thinking, instead of going ahead and doing a video on the whole entire build, is to go ahead and make a video on just those effects, okay? So effects as far as how to take drywall joint compound and create a stucco finish, or how to make the brickwork or the stonework with the drywall compound. And then that would just be one video, just a technique, kind of an effect video. And then do another video on the roof showing how to make tile roofs, because roof actually looks pretty cool. Stucco looks really cool too. So that's what kind of my thought is. So I've got two more that I'm building here. This was today's what? Today's Friday over here. It's Saturday. So yeah, might do that and then be able to get an effect video out to you guys this next week. So I'll do that. I'll go ahead and make that video, get that out, and then because these kits are really cool. And talking with Kevin, and it sounds like a lot of people are starting to purchase them. Plus, he just released the other remaining 4 kits for this area of the Targa Floria collection. And you guys need to know how to make these things look like they belong in Sicily, right? So I need to get that video done for you guys. So I will go ahead and concentrate on that this weekend. Let's see if we can't get that done. So if you notice, I'm moving pretty fast with this stuff. Not really paying attention. So a lot of times, if you just go ahead and go through the motions with it, turns out better. Not all, okay, now this isn't a rule for everything, okay? But something like this, just go through motions, just slam it out. So we're just gonna go ahead and put this around the edges. So we don't need it in the middle. Okay, like so. Now, with doing stain on billboards, duh. You want to make sure your oil or your stain, whatever it is dry, especially if you slop it over on here like that. Okay. The reason why is that when you go ahead and put your signage on there and it's paper, guess what? The paper will absorb the stain and you'll have a big old dark mark in your stuff. Okay. So there we are. Kind of an even coat of that stuff all the way around. So there's that. Now, before we go ahead and, we're okay. Before we go ahead and finish it, I'm gonna do a little bit of weather, okay? So, is this, nope, that's two-door. We got ebony stain, okay? Love this stuff, but, okay, it is, gotta be careful with it. And what I mean by that is, this stuff is a penetrating oil, which means it can really move and get dark real fast, okay? I'm not going to use this kind of bigger brush to do this. I want to be able to control it more. So I'm going to switch it up to a small micro brush, okay? Now, also, this stuff, let me go ahead and try it. Okay. You need to stir it. Okay. Like I said, this stuff is real potent, travels fast, and quite honestly, it can bite you in the balls real quick. So you want to be cautious with it, okay? Hence why I'm using a small brush, not a big brush. Okay, now we just did this, so it's not dry. It's still a little bit damp. Why I'm doing that is that if we add this over the top of it while it's still wet, it'll penetrate into the other oils and it'll bleed a little bit more, okay? Give us a little bit more of an even bleed. You can do it when it's dry, but you're not gonna get the same effect. I'll show you something. So, let me see how this works real quick. Okay. So, go ahead and move this way. Right. So I stirred this up. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and hit this right on the edge here, okay? Lightly hit it. Lightly hit it. You can see how it's already there. Take your finger, dab it. It'll go ahead and give it kind of that weathered look on the side. If you, no, it's not that one. The other Firestone big leaderboard that I did for Racetrack Scenics and the Brands Hatch leaderboard. On the back side of that, I use this technique. Works really cool. Like I said though, you just got to be careful with it because it can it can bite you, man. And when you're dealing with a small surface like this, okay, I'm going to show you something real quick so you can kind of see that. You can see the boards that I hit right here versus this one up here that I haven't hit. See how it kind of gives that little bit of weathering look to it? So what I'm doing is coming across the top, dragging it like so. It's not really showing. And then I'm taking my finger and I'm blending it out with it. Okay? Just kind of gives it that little extra. That's pretty cool. So just go ahead and hit that, rub it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do this. Now, that leaderboard, I did this on all the structures in the back, and it's really cool. Pictures only do something, just a little bit of justice, but it gives it a really, and it's an easy effect. It gives a really cool effect, and it's real easy. Just got to tiptoe with it. Don't go into it boldly because it will bite you. So, and what I mean by that is it will just take this and turn it all black. Now, it happens, right? There's ways that you could probably maybe work with that with your advantage. Maybe go in with a Dremel, kind of rip it apart, make it look like it's actually decaying wood or something like that. There's ways of doing that. But I guess it all depends on how far you want to go with your leader or your billboard. So, let's see here. Can you use spray adhesive well? Mark, is that as far as the signage, on the signage? Yes, you can use spray adhesive. I don't use spray adhesive because it's hard to control and it's going to go ahead and get on other things that I'm not really wanting adhesive to get onto. So that's something that you're going to have to, if you can use spray adhesive, you're just going to have to be real aware with that. There are billboards out there, a lot like bigger billboards, that it would be easier to do something like that. If you sprayed per se the back side of the signage, the only thing I have to say about that, just be careful not to load it up, because if you start to get it, like any type of paper product, you get it too wet, it's going to want to curl. Something kind of keep in mind when you do it. So, but yes, I mean, you can do that. So, maybe we shouldn't have done 3 billboards at one time. But then again, if you guys have watched some of my videos, they can last a little while, right? So, let's see here. Oh, the dogs are howling. So I'm just going to go ahead and do just simple weathering on these. Not going to go with all the flocks or any of that. Just going to go ahead and do paint weathering. This one's going to be stain weathering. Just because we want to finish sometime in the same day, right? So, and I'll show you guys what it looks like. You can tell that all I'm doing is just brushing, and then I'm just blending with my finger, okay? So, pretty simple. I've had people ask me, why don't you use gloves when you do this? Unfortunately, gloves, I don't know. I don't like wearing gloves. But on the other aspect of it, it's hard to blend material with gloves on, because something to do with the oils, the natural oils that are in your hand and whatnot will makes a difference. It'll help blend it out a little bit. So, there we go. You know, I'm doing all this work on the back side, and you're probably thinking to yourself, Boone, you're never going to see the back side of it. Maybe, maybe not. But I know what the back side looks like. So there we go. Let's go ahead and hit this just a little bit, certain areas. And a little bit more weathering here. And you notice I'm going fast, right? Granted, I've done it a few times, but on the other aspect of it, I'm not falling in love with it, okay? What I mean by that is I'm not getting all technical and going, okay, I got it. Don't do that. Just go in, just kind of whip it, move it around, okay? If you start going in and really start hyper-focusing on stuff like that, two things are going to happen, okay? One, it's not going to turn out as well as if you just went ahead and flowed with it. Two, you're going to get frustrated, okay? It's frustrating when you really, because if you start doing that and really getting down into it, okay, it's not, because you're trying to make every little piece of it, say, perfect, right? With weathering's one of those things that it's not one single portion of it that makes the whole entire project. It's the caliber. It's the whole entire genre that goes into it. When you look at it, your eye kind of dances over the whole entire thing and absorbs it. You're not going to be hyper focusing on one area. So being as such, just have fun with it. Just let it go. And especially with stains, because stains, they're just gonna move around. They're gonna do all sorts of stuff. Hard to control stain. So don't try to control it. Just let it go, man. Okay. Get this. I'm gonna flip it out. This is the last little bit that I need to do. And with these sides, what I'm doing is I'm concentrating down into the crotch of the joints, okay? Down into here. That's what I'm concentrating on. So think about, as far as with weathering, when you see stuff that's weathered out, where is it? Well, it's usually down in those little crevices, because that's where the dirt and the grime and everything kind of sets. Okay, settles down in there. As it gets down at the bottom, a lot of times maybe it's going to get a little bit darker because it's closer. You got splash coming up from, you know, when heavy rains and stuff like that. So most important thing is just to have fun with it. Okay? Don't make it into a job. Just make it into enjoying yourself. Okay. All right, I think I got it. So there we go. Okay. You can see how it just kind of goes down in there, goes through all those little nooks and crannies. It looks like it's, you know, weathered out. You got that wood, but you have that darkness, okay? That gives it gives it depth. And like I said, your eyes just kind of dance across the whole entire thing. It's one of my favorite effects. Doing this type of stuff on MDF or on balsa or something like that, it's a really fun effect, because you kind of have an idea of what it's going to look like, but you really don't know what it's going to look like until it's done. And then you kind of look and go, yeah, that's cool. So go ahead and set this down. Let that go ahead and dry. And get rid of that. Go ahead and seal this up real quick. There's that. So we got that. We got that. Firestone's on there. Can't put that one on there yet. Let's grab SO Girl. All right, 80. I'll catch you later, man. You have a good night. Thank you for joining. You're going to have to explain to your doc why your fingers are black. That'd be a good one. Okay. Let's see here. I have my sign together, Camille. And it is all white. What do I use to weather it? No. Yeah, I know. Okay. Neil, let me go ahead and put this together real quick. I've only got a couple pieces to put together. All right. And then we'll weather it. So let me see how this goes. This is pretty, yeah, this is a simple kit. Okay. Cool thing about these racetrack scenics billboards is none of them are really, they're not complicated to put together. And that's not taking away anything either. What I mean by that is they're simple, yet they look really good when they're all together. So my hands still have junk on them. Not too worried about it. So I'm gonna weather it. Yeah, it'll work. So yeah, but I mean, they're cool little kits. Don't do it on that. Do it on this. Getting ahead of myself. So they're talking to you guys and not paying attention. So, all right, here we go. So we got this on there. Get this guy glued on there. There's that. There's that. That. All right. So got that all on. cool thing about this one is that it's keyed. What I mean by that is she has little notches in her, little notches in here, so we don't have to worry about trying to center it or anything else. They've taken the guessing game out of the equation, so that makes it nice. All right, so there's that. One thing you do have to watch out with Racetrack Scenics though, okay? Jonah makes these kits. Jonah is out of, he's the one that designs the kits, and he is down in South Africa. Jonah, heck of a nice guy. Really, both of them are. I mean, Kevin and Jonah are great guys. Jonah is an he was an engineer, and he makes these things so precise when you put them together that if you have paint buildup, now I'm okay with this, okay? Because my paint's still a little bit soft, okay? I was able to slide in. He makes them so precise that a lot of times if you have paint on the edges and it dries, and then you try to get it into the keyed areas, you'll start damaging stuff because the tolerances are so tight. So if that's the case and it's dry and everything else, get some sandpaper. If you've painted those areas, okay, get some sandpaper, sand it, clean it up. It just make your life a lot easier when you're trying to put it back together. So otherwise, you can dance a jig, hope for the best. Hopefully it all goes in. But my experience was some of the bigger kits doing that. Yeah, either tape them off, masking tape, tape off those little nubs and stuff so they don't get paint on them, or take the time after, sand around, get that all cleaned up, and then try to put it together. So, all right. So Neil, there we go. So we got our structure all together, right? Okay, so we're doing an this bomb camp. Let's do a wash. Okay, let's do a black wash. Black wash, easy to do. Okay, don't have to do anything special or anything else. Let's do a black wash. Okay. So we're going to use black acrylic. So we need to get some black acrylic paint and some water in a container. Shoot. That's a little dirty. Let's see here. Let me grab. I'll grab a lid. Okay. So I grabbed a little lid. All right. What we're going to do is we're going to mix up a black wash. And even though we didn't spray it with acrylic or anything else, it's fine. You can still use a black wash with acrylic. So what we're going to do, let's give this a good shake. Pop it open. Okay, this is a strong black, okay? They do have weak black as well, right? That's why I kind of made that notion. But this is strong black, and I'm dripping it. So that's all I got on there. Just a little dot, okay? Not very much at all. Now, take our water. Let me get something to stir it with. All right. Makeshift miniature stir stick. I'm going to mix this 1 to 2. Okay, so 1 part paint, 2 parts water. Okay, that's what we're going to start with. I'm going to show you guys something. So I'm just going to eyeball this. Okay. I haven't really ever done this in one of my videos. Okay, I've done a lot of videos with wash and everything else. We've done brickwork and stonework, all sorts of different stuff. Okay, we'll go into wash a little bit deeper on this one. Actually, a lot deeper than what I've done before. Washes are cool because so easy to do. Okay, got kind of a broad head type of brush. Okay, I'm going to put this off to the side because we're not going to use that right now. I've got this board, right? So the white paint that's on this that I have right now is probably say 1 part, what I say, 1 part black acrylic, 2 parts water. Okay, so a 1 to 2 ratio. I'm gonna put that on there. See how strong that is? Okay. We want it lighter than that. Okay. So that's kind of what you're gonna get with a 1 to 2 ratio. Right. So we're gonna bump this up. I'm gonna go per se 5 to 1. Okay, 5 parts water, 1 part color, 1 part black. Stir this up. Now, we're going to try this again. See the difference now? Okay. So with the 1 to 2, it's still leaving, per se, pigment behind. With the 5 to 1, it's more watered out, and we're getting more of a staining effect to it. Okay, that's what we're going after when we do a wash. Okay, set that off to the side. Now, if you notice, when I put this together, I got it dirty. Oh boy, not worried about it. We're gonna wash it. So, what I'm gonna do is take this, I'm gonna start up on top, and I'm just gonna kind of let this thing do its magic, okay? I'm just gonna move it down through. Just kind of get this down in some of these gullies. Like so. Now, looks kind of ugly, doesn't it? Check this out. Paper towel. Just gonna come in, kind of hit some of this stuff lightly. Okay, I'm dapping it, okay? Not smearing it, dapping it. Kind of hard to get in the inside of this one. And the main thing I'm going after is the drops, okay? Because we're going over a white base. And go ahead and take your finger, kind of drag it down through, and it just kind of gives it that little oomph. So do the same thing, going over it again. Okay. We're going after those with it. Drag your finger. There we go. Okay. Just kind of gives a little bit of weathering into it. Now we're not done with this. So let me go ahead and hit this a little bit more. Let me get this other side. And we're also going to do a dry brush. Okay. So we're going to do a 2-for-1 on this one. We're going to do an acrylic black wash. So it's just kind of dirtying it down a little bit, okay? Nothing real major. Like I said, when I was doing the other one, wasn't getting real picky with certain areas, just kind of flowing with it, okay? Now I'm gonna go ahead and hit these outside ones here. Get over that a little bit. Okay. Now I just got to finish up this portion right in here. That. Like I said before, not falling in love with it, just going through the motions. All right. There we go. Okay. So it's kind of giving a little bit of dirtiness. Some dots down here. I'm just going to take my finger and rub them out. So there we go. Okay. It's not done yet, but got an idea going what's going on. Now, we're going to do a dry brush. Okay, if you have burnt umber or the color I've been using for a while now, and the reason, okay, I'll tell you a story behind this, right? I didn't pay attention, right? I just went ahead and I thought, oh, that's burnt umber. I grabbed it and I brought it home and I looked at it and went, wait a minute, that ain't burnt. It's something called bittersweet. Well, tell you what, I like this bittersweet stuff. This stuff's pretty cool. But if you have burnt umber, same type of thing. This is it's a satin type of acrylic, okay? And it's not It's not real expensive stuff, so that part's cool. Cool thing about these, the MDF, you bust it off, get yourself a little dry brush board. It's built right in. Hey, they didn't even charge you extra for it. They gave it to you for free. Well, kinda. Okay, so again, I'm gonna use kind of a just a light, kind of a smaller paintbrush. Okay, not even using stiff bristle. This is soft bristle. So I'm loading up my brush. I need to clean up my mess. Hang on a sec. If I don't watch out with this stuff, I'm gonna end up wearing it. Let's put that over here. Okay, that's out of the way. That's good. I was getting nervous. Kept on going and was like shaking back and forth. Okay, so I went ahead and I loaded up the brush. Okay, you see how much is on there. All right, got my MDF brush. Go ahead and paint it on. Okay, so we're gonna do a dry brush effect. Okay, now when I do like the rocks or the bricks or anything else, same technique. Okay, just brushing it on there. There. Okay, you might want to hit it with your hand just to see if you have any transfer on it, because when you're dealing with white, okay, different colors a little bit, but white can be unforgiving because it shows everything, right? So you don't want to all of a sudden you have a big old glop on there and you go, and all of a sudden there's this big transfer of like dark brown. So make sure that this is good. Now, taking this, I'm working my edge, okay? Working my edge down. Okay, so I'm just, kind of hard to do this on. But what we're doing is just working that, okay? See how that upper edge, so you're working off the edge, you're pulling it down into your structure. Go ahead and load this up a little bit more. Also, I'm working one direction. I'm not working multiple directions, okay? One direction. Why is that? This thing's standing up in a field and it's been there for quite a few years. You're not going to have weathering going all sorts of different way, right? Because the rain comes down, everything comes down. It's going to start and it's going to flow down into it, okay? So kind of think as far as like Mother Nature. You're just trying to copy that, right? So when I'm doing it, I'm working downward into it, not coming across, working downward, okay? So get over here. So I just bring this down. You got all these other little things that we're working onto, okay? Let's go ahead. Let's just start toning it down. See how this works. There you go. Just kind of working it down. A little bit more. Work the side. Just bringing it down. And this is one of those things that it all depends on how. That was a fun one. All depends on how extreme you want to go, right? Do baby steps with it. Don't attack until you're comfortable with what you're doing, okay? It's a lot easier to add weathering into it than trying to remove weathering out of it. Okay, think about that. It's easier to add than to take away. So it's okay to baby step it going in, because you're kind of working with those layers and you're putting those layers onto it. So kind of think about that. So as far as your brush and that type of stuff, just make sure it's nice and clear. You cleared it out. I mean, even if it, you know, if it's barely on there, right? At least you're kind of doing it slowly forward. Because, okay, I'll give you an example. Show you. Think about this. If I went ahead and I hit this too hard and I didn't like the weathering with it, okay, it was too extreme, how do I turn around and go backwards with it? Okay, how? I might be able to come in with some white and just kind of hit it, certain areas, trying to what. But if it's with that type of thing, it can all of a sudden start to look like it gives it a real muddy effect. So a lot of times you can screw it up and you have to go all the way back to the beginning and try to paint it out that one color and then start all over again, start coming forward again. So kind of think about that. Don't get too aggressive. Just kind of work into it. And the more you do, I mean, obviously, the more you do, the more comfortable you'll get with it. And before you know it, you're just going like this, just weathering away. So. Go ahead and hit this. I'm going to hit a little bit in the inside. Now, on insides, it gets tough. Hey, thank you very much, Anthony. That's awesome. Ah, coffee. Thank you. On the inside, in here, be be aware, okay? Because you're coming. This back, man, I tell you what, coming in at an angle like this, it's going to be real easy just to jam it in there, and then, well, if you jam it in there, you're going to make a big like blob of brown, okay? So think that as far as you're going to blend it in, okay? So you want to come in with a light touch, and then just kind of wisp it down. And even then, it's a pain in the butt, okay? I'm not going to lie, it's a pain in the butt. So, but just kind of light hit. You notice I haven't loaded up my brush anytime lately. Okay. It's because I'm baby stepping it. I'm baby stepping it in the inside. Okay. So that if you look through the middle, you'll see it. Okay. Pain in the butt. I'm not gonna lie, pain in the butt. Just kind of come through. I'm just going to go ahead and hit the inside structure, just a little bit more on the sides. You can't really see it, but I know it's there. So if I know it's there and I didn't address it, it's going to bug me. Even if I never ever see it again, it's sitting on the layout and there's no way I can see it. You know, want to go ahead and make sure I take care of that. Otherwise, it could drive me nuts. Get like that, like a perfectionist sometimes. Okay. So is that working for you, Neil? Did that? I haven't seen you come back up on chat lately. Last time you put they fit well. Neil's one of the, yeah, I like to harass Neil. Neil's a good guy. But that work? Wait for your response. Okay, so we got all that. It's looking grungy. We kind of went a little overboard on it. It's okay. She's a dirty girl. All right. Hit this. Now what I'm going to do is come across the tops. Just hit my edges just a little bit, just so that it tones them down. Okay. All right, so now I've got all that, okay? So that's weathered down, looking grimy. Okay. Now we got an issue. Because now we got little Miss Esso, and she looks pretty clean. I mean, her structure is all like, you know, dirty, but now we put her on there, and she looks pretty clean. So we're gonna have to address that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and glue her on. Get some Mod Podge. So, same way that I did with the Firestone. Okay. And I'm gonna go ahead and just do it same way here. Making sure that I get everything covered. I forget who it was asking me about the spray adhesive. Yeah, you can do spray adhesive. I was thinking about that while we were doing all this. You're going to want to use a spray adhesive that has a nice atomization to the spray, okay? If that makes sense. What I mean by that is that it's not going to be spitting, okay, adhesive out. You want something, you're going to want to spend a little bit extra money, get a real nice type of spray. 3M makes a real nice spray adhesive like that. Okay, you don't want to do the 3M like interior adhesive, okay, spray adhesive. Don't do that. They have another one, works really good. Okay. This is what I use, is the Loctite. Okay. Now I've heard from our friends over on the other side of the pond, they haven't been able to find this. Okay. But if you're over in the States or, you know, North America, up in Canada and stuff, this stuff works really good. And I use this not only for, I use it for all sorts of stuff, but with trees and everything else. This stuff's really good. And it dries clear, okay? So that's a big plus too. You don't want a spray adhesive that's gonna dry a different color like tan or amber, you know. You want something that's gonna dry clear. That way, if you do get it somewhere that you don't wanna get it, it's clear. Okay, you're not going to see it as much. It's going to blend in. So, go ahead and do that. Let's see here. Okay, Boone, I tried, but I had to repaint. It was awful looking. I think, oh, yeah. Well, good. I'm glad you tried it, Neil. So, yeah, maybe just stick with the dry brushing then. So let me go ahead and get this. Okay, almost got it. Come on. You know, it's really easy when I'm making videos because I tell you guys what I'm gonna do, and then I hit the button and I turn it off, right? And then come back and whoa, it's on there. And now you get to see how this, how it all transpires. Okay, got on there, got her, time to stick her to the board. All right, so just go ahead and line it all up. Stuff's so nice because they must do like a laser style cutting on the, I think that's what Kevin told me. But the signage and everything else that they do, I mean, the edges, it's so clean. I mean, there's no fraying or nothing like that, and it fits perfectly onto the board. You know, nothing's hanging off. That's cool. So I've done, you know, I think everyone has. You've done kits in the past or something like that. You go to put it on, and then it fits real good in one area, and then the other area is all hanging off, and you're like, oh, you know, and then you're coming back with like X-Acto blades and razor blades trying to trim it all out. And you're just asking for more problems. But it's really cool that Jonah and Kevin got, you know, they spend a little extra time on these little finer details. And it's pretty cool. So there she is. She's all done. Now, let's let her dry for just a little bit. Let's go back to another one. Jaeger. Our oil is dry. So let's go ahead and stick this guy on there. So I'll do that. So it's kind of cool. We were able to get, what, 3 different styles of billboards done with this. So that's kind of cool. I guess if we do something like this again, maybe we'll do one where I'm doing a metal effect. So it makes it look like it's made out of a metal structure. And then we can get into more of doing rust effect. You know, rust. That'd be kind of cool, actually. That'd be a fun one. If you guys, you know, if you guys like the way this is all kind of going, let me know. Let me know in the comments and stuff like that. If this is something that, you know what, Boone, maybe every once in a while we need to throw one of these into the mix, let me know. I'll do it. It'd be kind of fun. You know? Yeah. Because you guys are the driving force behind my channel, my YouTube channel, okay? I'm willing to do pretty much whatever you guys want me, well, okay, let me whatever you want me to do as far as modeling goes, okay? I know there's a couple of you that your brains are starting, no. Well, maybe, I don't know, we'll talk about that. So, went ahead, got that, time for Jaeger, put it on there. I don't drink anymore. If you're drinking some Jaeger, have a shot. Okay, so let me go ahead and do this. Okay. So there it is. That looks pretty good. I don't even think we need to even do anything with the signage because it looks really good against that dark kind of backdrop. So I say that's a winner just the way it is. Cool. So we're going to set him down with the Firestone over here. Man, let me try this Firestone one more time. Okay, there was this base that I tried earlier. Problem is, I can use this hand, but I can't use any pressure with it. It just sucks. As soon as I do that, it's like I get a pain right up my, yeah. It reminds me it's messed up. There we go. That works. Just like so. So that turned out pretty cool too. In this one, remember we just did the one coat, no weathering, just one coat. One coat, and it kind of gives it, see, if we look right here on the edge, it just kind of gives it that light little weathering effect. It's not perfect, okay? So what would this would be like a sign. Let's think about this. It was a sign that was put at the beginning of the race season, and this is like towards the end of the race season. So it's had like one season under it, maybe two. Kind of gives you that little bit of grunge. Nothing too heavy. Still looks pretty good, clean. But if you get up close to it, you can see a little bit something. Kind of cool. So there's that. So we got this one, this one. Haven't done anything to the base to this because I don't use the bases on my layout. I take these legs and I use that as far as with the polystyrene and mount it in there. Now, I might have to put like some nails at the bottom of this or pins so that it has something, an anchor point, but I personally don't really get into the bases, get rid of those, stick these guys right into the scenery. So that's why I didn't do nothing with it. Got that, got that. Let's finish up our little girl. Okay. And she's dry enough. Okay. Now when they cut these, I gotta stretch my back just a sec, guys. Those ribs. Okay. So when they cut these, you see a little bit of brown around the edge. Okay. So already has kind of a little bit of a weathered look to it with that brown. So that's kind of cool. But with the amount of weathering a bit back here, compared to that, it's just too clean. So we gotta make it dirty. Okay. Well, not like real dirty, but you know, just a little dirty. You know what I mean? Okay. So let me go ahead and same thing. Dry brush. Now, okay, now we want to be careful, right? Because we're dealing with something we cannot back up on. Okay, when it comes to your signage, you got one shot. Okay, think about that. You got one shot. Okay, Neil, think about this. You're able to go ahead and paint out the backside, right? See you later, Mark. I'll see you tomorrow, man. Thanks for showing up. So, think about this. Signage, you got one shot, okay? What do I mean by that? Take baby steps. Make sure that this is clean. Plus the other thing, you might want to get a piece of paper, okay? Good idea. Get a piece of paper. I don't know where any paper's at. Get a piece of white paper, play around with it. Play around with it before you attack your signage, okay? Just so you can get used to how the paint's going to transfer onto paper, okay? Because it's different than a painted surface. I'm letting you know that right now, up, it's different, okay? Think about that, okay? So, got this. What I want to do is I'm going to bring it down, kind of here. I'm going to tone down some of her white. Okay, especially around the edges. I want to tone that down. Okay, but I'm hitting it really soft. Okay, so now I'm getting a feel of what our material is like, because this signage has it's like what did he tell me? It's cardstock that he uses, and the print kind of has a it's not like raw paper, you know. It has well, like I said, cardstock, but you can tell that there's a film on the top of it. Okay, so we need to play with this just a little. There we go. Okay, so I'm hitting it just lightly, bringing it down, and I just want to hit the edges of it. Okay, just to kind of, you know, make sure that, just kind of make it look like she's been outside for a little while. So I'm going to drag this real lightly over the top, making long strokes. Okay, just letting the brush kind of do its thing. I'm not trying to force it, nothing else. If you work the edges, a lot of time by working the edges, you're going to work the brush. Okay, I mean by that, it's going to hit the brush, it's going to drag some of that material out. Okay, and by doing that, it's kind of cleaning it as far as the brush goes, so that when you do go ahead and start doing long strokes down like that, you're not going to have per se that oops moment. Okay, all of a sudden there's a big wet party inside your brush like this, and all of a sudden there's like a big streak. So we'll just kind of make her a little bit grungy. Nothing too bad. And obviously your type of weathering is I weathered this thing kind of hard. So I got to kind of weather her hard a little bit too. But let me show you what I got. Okay. Put the brush down. All right. There we go. So she's a little bit heavy. Got a little bit of heaviness in here. You see it's not uniform. Not falling in love with anything onto it. I'm just going through the motions with it. When you go through the motions with it, it comes out looking natural. Okay? Looks natural. Doesn't look like it's that you know what I mean. So there we go. So we got, she's all done. Our Firestone's all done. And we got our Jaeger all done. So there we go, guys. And you know, it took us a little while to do it. It's not, I've had videos that were longer than this. So all right. So there we go. Got all three complete here. We got our girl, our Firestone, our Jaeger. And there we go. We were able to sit around, BS for a while, have fun, build 3 billboards, and yeah, I was able to have a little bit of fun tonight, right? So I'll go ahead and post these up on the Instagram and on the Facebook. So I'll get those out there. And yeah. So there we go. So that was kind of fun. And I made it through, and I was able to model with 1.5 hands. So think about this. If I'm able to do this with 1.5 hands, and you guys got 2 good hands, you can do this, all right? It's not only is 1.5 hands, but I'm dealing with all the broken. So yeah, I don't want to hear, well, Boone, no, you can do this. Just try, okay? Just try. That's all I ask. Just try. Because it's kind of like, you know, the first time you do it, don't get discouraged, okay? Don't get discouraged your first time trying to do this. It takes time to develop techniques and everything else. It's kind of like Hugh. Hugh plays a badass guitar, right? The guy can rock, but he didn't come out of the womb, you know, with a Stratocaster rocking right off the bat. No, you gotta work into it. So, all right, so there we go. Words of wisdom from Boone. So if you like what we did tonight and stuff like that, let me know in the comments. Say, Boone, this was fun. Let's do it again. Or let me know, Boone, this is a bomb. We really shouldn't do this. This was just, no, stick with your videos. Don't do the live stream. Let me know. All right. If you guys like it, then we'll do some more. And then we'll put it out there and we'll just figure it out. Right. We'll go from there. So, all right. All right. So I'm going to get going. I need to be able to set up and stuff like that. For the guys on Patreon that are on the chat, I will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to do a Zoom. Go ahead and do that. And just so everyone knows, yes, I know, the Patreon. But this is a kit that we're going to do on the Patreon group. So you kind of get an idea. I'm only going to be able to do this kind of simple type of stuff on the YouTube. But on Patreon, yeah, we're going to go ahead and put together a whole entire barn kit. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. So we did that. We did this guy, the Dunlop Bridge that's behind me. So, all right. Just putting that out there. Just ideas, you know, kind of turn it. All right. So I'll see you guys later. It's about time that we just shut this thing down. All right. Thank you. And I'll see you guys again. All right. Bye.